Come explore the unknown with us and enter the Chamber of Shadows, a podcast for the dark, haunted, and mysterious. My name is Celine, and I am one of your hosts. I am joined by my co-host, Endora. Say hi, Endora.
Good evening, spooky fam.
Okay. I was trying to think. There was something I wanted to talk about briefly, just like a current event. And now I was thinking about it today. I'm like, I got so involved with doing this research and stuff. I really completely forgot what I wanted to talk about.
Girl, I feel that every week. Like we had our little meeting and we're like, oh, we definitely should like talk about something, that's going on in the moment, something timely. And every single week I'm like, I would have, except I never took my head out of this book or I never stopped watching this documentary. So yeah, I feel it.
Yes. And I should have, I try to be good about putting it in my notes when I think about it. I literally have a talk about on podcast little note that I have. And I just didn't do it. So sorry about that. But
everything will be okay.
Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be all right. Okay. Well, I don't have a great intro. I actually did more of an outro today. But I know I told you what we're doing today. Have you heard of the third man effect?
So I think I have an idea now of what it's about. I don't think I really I've never heard it called that, but I did think about when you just from the name of it, I was like, oh, it's like the Joplin butterfly people or it's angels or something like that. So I think I have a clue. I think that's what it is.
I really encourage you, as well as any listeners, which also welcome back, or if you're new here, hi!
Oh. Welcome to the Chamber of Shadows podcast, everyone. I am Endora, and there is Celine. Here we go. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. No, I really encourage you and anybody listening today to keep an open mind. I have some science that I want to dive into first, but there is a lot of supernatural kind of, I hate to say superstition, but superstition behind this as well. So I am very, very interested to see what you think and what anybody else thinks.
Yes.
Because to be honest, I'm kind of stuck in between both of them. I can see, why can't two things be true?
I say it all the time. I think people are sick of hearing me say it, but it's a fact of life. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah. So for anybody who does not know what the third man effect is, I did not turn my do not disturb on. Okay.
Here we are.
Okay. Here we are. For anyone who does not know what the third man effect is, it can also be called third man syndrome or third man factor, which I will get into. This is an experience that people in extreme life-threatening situations have. They start to sense a comforting or unseen presence or spirit guiding them to safety. This is something that is often reported by mountaineers, shipwreck survivors, as well as car accident victims, and so much more. So much more. I did learn that this is actually sometimes used in therapy as well. Mental imagery, they noted, could be more beneficial than words for some people. I thought that was really interesting.
That is really interesting.
Yeah. However, reportedly, this whole third man effect syndrome factor was, I hate to say originally, because people have been experiencing this for forever, but was originally ushered in by John Geiger. Geiger's
probably right. I went to school with some Geiger. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Geiger just for the sake of this episode. He wrote a book called The Third Man Factor, Surviving the Impossible, and it came out in 2009. But like I said, he did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot. And people have been experiencing this third man factor for a long time. Long time. I did read a majority of his book, and I'll make sure to include any research, scientific as well as in his book and stuff in the show notes so that people can just go on and click. But a little more explanation into what this third man factor is. We don't know. So some people believe it could be a sensory deprivation. I saw somewhere somebody mentioned low blood glucose. I thought that was very interesting, so I just threw that in here as like a I don't know.
Oh, I mean, it's interesting. Mostly
Yeah.
low BG just makes me angry, and then I just eat, and then I feel better. So,
That's fair. That's fair. I get like I know, and it's so weird. I know my BG is low when I get like this sudden like no, I need something sweet or like right now. I need
hmm
it.
yeah.
And there's no other way to describe it. I'm like, no, I need this right now. And then I feel better after eating it. It's so weird. Psychological survival mechanism is another explanation. So it's kind of this compensation mechanism. Stress and fear can alter our mindsets.
Yeah.
Kind of like when you're walking down a dark hall or you're walking upstairs and you feel like somebody's behind you or chasing you. You ever done that? Where you're just like,
When I was little, coming up the basement stairs, my dad used to tease me all the time. Daddy used to always be like, did you turn the light off? Because he wanted me to have to go back downstairs.
you're like, I'm not doing it. It happened all the time. Now I had a decent amount of experiences in my mom's house paranormally growing up, but it happened all the time coming up the stairs from the basement to the first floor in her house. I don't know what it was. I was terrified of that basement. Still
Yeah,
am
I
when I
think
think
it's
about
pretty
it.
common for us to have felt like that. Yeah.
I still to this day, it doesn't happen as often, but sometimes when I have all the lights off in my house and I like get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I like am crawling back in bed and I'm like, do. I'm like, and then I'm like on my knees looking around my bedroom like nobody's in here, right?
Like, your bed is home base.
Yeah, it literally is. And then I feel stupid because I try to base my like mental state on okay, the dogs
Uh-huh.
aren't reacting, so why am
Right.
I
Yes.
reacting?
Yeah.
So then they like lift their heads up and look at me and I'm like, everything's fine. It's all fine.
It's just mommy. It's okay.
It's okay. Oh my god. But yeah, so I just thought that was very interesting to kind of include in here before I really jump into the science base of this. That's something that we experience all the time. We experienced it as kids, some of us still experience it as adults. We're walking down an alley and we feel like, somebody's behind us and so we take off running. It's we seek to fill a silence. And I don't know if a lot of people notice that, but when it's too quiet, it's like we'll put on music or we'll put a TV on just to kind of fill this silence, which can lead to something like sensory deprivation.
Have you ever done one of those tanks?
I have not.
I
I
mean,
will.
neither, but boy, I really want to.
I do too. However,
Yeah.
I will say I didn't get much into it in all of this. Um, Geiger's book actually talks about this as far as the third man factor goes and using sensory deprivation tanks as part of their scientific experiments and whatnot. Very interesting. Very,
Mhm.
very interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
Another thing that was a possible explanation, again, still in the science base here, is a bicameral mentality. Have you ever heard of
Oh
that?
no, what does that mean?
It's essentially the two hemispheres of the brain communicating. They generate these internal voices that can be perceived as external guidance.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And then, of course, the last thing, because it wouldn't be the Chamber of Shadows without something spooky, um, spiritual or paranormal. Some believe that it's spirit guides, others believe that it's guardian angels, some believe that it's actually a deceased loved one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, there's a lot. I can't emphasize that enough in this, but as far as look, I'm trying to scroll on my So, okay, for the listeners, I am looking at my notes on my phone today instead of my computer, so I just tried to scroll on my computer. I'm like, "Okay, what's next? Scroll down." That's not gonna work. Okay, did you have any thoughts, questions, concerns so far?
Mm-mm. I do, no, that's a lie. I do wanna ask you if that, what did you call it when the 2 parts of the brain are talking to each other?
I think it's pronounced bicameral mentality.
So, is that like a symptom of, like, schizophrenia, or is that, like, something else?
I don't know specifically if it can be related to schizophrenia. I know I I kind of when I go into the science like I'm about to do,
Okay.
it's very interesting
Mm,
because it makes sense. It makes
yeah.
sense. I know that doesn't answer your question. Let me go through the science and see if that kind of helps you at all.
Okay.
Okay. So I read two different research articles for this actually. The two research articles I read were mainly involved with high altitude climbers. It seems like they're some of the people who experience this factor the most frequently.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
Huh. We should ask Desi.
Oh. Okay.
I mean,
That's actually
yeah, she
really
does a
do you
lot of, like, hiking, and she's been to, like, all over the world, so I'm gonna ask her about that.
yeah, that actually I didn't even think about that. I did ask I did ask one of my friends here randomly yesterday. I was like, "Hey, have any of y'all ever been in like a life-threatening situation?" Just, casual conversation. And one of them actually told me that he had been in an accident and he saw the like real. You know how people talk about seeing like your life flash before your eyes?
Mhm.
So I thought that was very interesting. He did not say that he experienced this kind of third man factor here, but he did say that he had like moments of his life kind of real in his brain. So I thought that was very, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first article I read, and again, I'll include these in the show notes. So if anybody's interested on reading, so they actually note psychotic symptoms at high altitudes is very, very common. Most of the reports for this particular, um, oh my gosh, what's the word? Article, sure, research article, research paper reports that they lack a clear medical assessment and interpretation. They have these episodes of isolated high altitude psychosis, and it consists of a third person phenomenon involving two sensory modalities, a somesthetic and visual hallucination. So, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, it's essentially feeling a presence and seeing something, whether that be a presence or something else. A highly experienced climber at an altitude of 7,500 meters
I was like,
was what
"Wow, where were
wow!
they?"
Are they in space? God. Was somebody that they used. They actually noted that symptoms for this particular person lasted for 3-ish hours. No other physical or mental symptoms were reported. However, hypoxia, sleep deprivation, exhaustion, dehydration, electrolyte disturbance, reduced visibility, feeling of isolation, and perceived danger were all possible causes. They also noted that this particular person, again, highly experienced climber at an altitude of 7,500 meters, never experienced it before and has not experienced it since then.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. The other paper that I was reading, their goal was a quote, systematic investigation of incidents, type, and circumstances of anomalous perceptual experiences in a highly specialized group of healthy subjects, extreme altitude climbers. So they had 8 world class climbers they tell them about their hallucinatory experiences. Did I say that
Wait,
right?
8?
Eight
Oh, that's a
world-class
lot. Okay.
climbers. Yeah. Hallucinatory experiences during climbing at various altitudes. They had a comprehensive neuropsychological and okay, I'm throwing a lot of big words out here real quick. So, a comprehensive neuropsychological, electroencephalographic EEG, and magnetic resonance imaging evaluation performed within a week of interviews. That's a lot of big words. Did you
Well,
catch
that's
that?
really fast to be able to get that study together that quick and be able to do those that yeah, that's
Super
fast.
quick.
Yeah.
Super quick. All but one reported somesthetic illusions as well as visual and auditory pseudo hallucinations.
Huh.
A large number of experiences above 6,000 meters compared to below were reported. So, again, reaching those higher altitudes. Solo climbing and life threatening danger were probable triggers, but there was no relationship between the number of reported experiences and neuropsychological impairment found. Abnormalities in the ECG of 3 climbers and the MRI in 2 climbers findings were likely unrelated to the frequency of reported experiences.
Oh, so like they just found like
Yeah,
incidental findings. Oh,
right.
and also by the way, you have a brain tumor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That yeah. Okay.
Crazy. So what they concluded was that they confirmed earlier anecdotal evidence for considerable incidents of hallucinatory experiences during climbing at high altitudes. Aside from hypoxia, social deprivation and acute stress seemingly played a role.
So is social deprivation and solitude, like, are we saying those are the same things? So they don't have anybody to bounce anything off of, or
It's
are we
very
call is it
interesting
something else?
because it's it's very interesting because it really depends. I think it's a little different because social deprivation can be in my brain, at least how I interpreted this, as you're traveling with small groups.
Oh,
So there's maybe 5 or 6 of you
okay.
versus the solitary, I would imagine, is by yourself,
Okay.
which by the
Okay.
way is absolutely absurd. Gives me anxiety.
Desi does it all the time. I'm like,
No,
"Girl, what do you
that's
mean?" She's, like, camping in the woods by herself. Like, what is happening? Staying in hostels and stuff? I mean, yeah. Uh, I love I love you. Shout out to Desi. I love you, but that shit is crazy.
I could never. I could never. Good for people who can do that. So dangerous. So
Oh
dangerous.
my god. Yeah, I just would never. I don't
No,
care. Armed or not, I still wouldn't. I have to
no.
sleep sometime. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Now, in Switzerland, a professor by the name of Olaf Blanc developed a device allowing a healthy human subject to draw a pattern that was replicated on their back with a slight time delay. The delay between the subject's movements and the mirrored pattern caused the subject to misidentify the source of sensory and motor input. So essentially, there was a disconnect between the body position, and it created an eerie sense of an extra presence. Reportedly, this was so powerful that there were some subjects who decided they were done, they weren't completing the experiment at all.
Oh, I'm out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
done.
Oh, okay.
Done. Did all of that I might have thrown a lot of big words in there. Essentially, to break it down just into a little more non-science words.
In summary.
In summary, what they were finding was there are biological things that can cause the brain to do what it does,
Yeah.
right? There, lack of oxygen, sleep deprivation, both of those alone have been known to cause differences in how your brain works. Sleep
Mhm.
deprivation is huge. So they're like,
I'll tell you a story about that someday.
did you ever hear which I didn't know it wasn't real until like more recent years, but the Russian sleep experiment?
Oh, where they went crazy and
Yes!
cannibalized each other, and yes.
That was so terrifying to me when I was little. I was like, oh my God.
And the guy that told that story was so creepy too. That was so good.
Yes!
Yes.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I was 100% sucked in. Yeah. Believe that.
I thought it was real for the longest time. I was telling people I was like, you guys didn't hear about this? Oh my God. But yes, essentially in summary, all of these findings, they were able to relate back to kind of a biological mechanism. So I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So, like I said, I actually read a decent amount of the book. I got to a point where I was like, I've got a lot of information already, so let me take a step back and share what I already have. If I again encourage anybody to read this book, it's very, very interesting. And he goes way further into every aspect of this than I am today. There is so much more to this. One of the things which I don't think I knew, he included his own experience. And I'm not going to go into his actual story. However, he does describe a physiological shift of perspective in which he was two people in two places at one time, and he was watching his experience from a distance. Have you ever heard of this before?
I mean, it sounds like an out of body experience, but I don't know what. Nope.
That's exactly what it sounds like. And I know
Yeah.
people have experienced this before, but he, in his book, and I quote, says, "All I know is that in my memory of the incident, there are not two, but three people there." Very interesting. He actually has a website, which in his book, he has it at www.thirdmanfactor.com.
Okay.
I think it's different now because I tried looking it up this morning and that link wouldn't pull anything up.
Okay.
I think his website now is thirdmanfactor.iglooCommunities.com.
Igloo?
Yes.
Like the little house made out of ice?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially, he made this a space where he could post more people's stories, but people could also go on these forums and tell their own stories and have discussions about it.
Oh, yeah. Like BFRO, right? Oh,
What?
I'm sorry. Like the Bigfoot research organization. Research organization.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been on there, but I imagine, yes.
Yes. Yeah. It sounds
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah, so I just clicked on it and I did see other people's stories, and this particular website has been along for a long while. So again, anybody who's interested, go check that out. He included 5 basic rules of governing this third man factor experience. I didn't go too far into depth with these, but I did want to label them. It was pathology of boredom, the principle of multiple triggers, the widow effect, the muse factor, and the power of the savior.
Oh, are you going to explain those?
I have no idea what they mean.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if he went into them in the second half of the book that I
Probably,
hadn't
yeah.
read, but I wanted to, because he mentioned these at the beginning, linking it back to his website, and I was like, okay, maybe it's on the website, and then the website that he had in the book didn't work, so it might be on his new website. I just am unsure.
Okay.
The widow effect, I believe I understand what he means by that one. There was an experience from someone that he included. I didn't include it in here, but basically she was a cave diver and her husband had died the previous year, and her third man effect was her husband.
Girl, that was real. He was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really, I wanted to include it, but I didn't want to copy too much out of his book. So
Right.
that's why I didn't. That story, along with one that I did include, which is a little more well known, really touched me for some reason. Maybe it's because cave diving is terrifying to me. I don't know. But
Yeah.
yes. He does note in his book that this phenomenon represents a real force for survival, and the ability to access this power is a factor, perhaps the most important, in determining who will succeed against seemingly insurmountable odds and who will not. End quote. He also includes something called the limit of physiology. Have you heard this before?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
So, the limit of physiology, as per what he talks about in his book, at some definable point, humans can no longer succeed, and at a more critical point, they can no longer survive. Rarely does one survive under extreme conditions when another dies, simply because the survivor has greater will to live. How do you feel about that?
I don't know how I feel about that. I think it could I think I could support that. I just would want to hear a little more. But yeah, I think that can be true.
So, I thought about this in the aspect of parvo. For anybody who doesn't know, dogs can get a disease when unvaccinated, or especially.
I don't know what happened, but you just got loud as fuck.
I did.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. But you just got really super you sound like you're yelling at me.
Do I still sound like that?
Nope. What did you do?
I haven't done anything. I grabbed my sweet tea.
That's crazy. Okay, I'm sorry that I interrupted you, but Parvo.
No, you're fine. I was like,
It
can I
was
not
just all
talk?
of a sudden you were like, "Arr, arr." I was like, what's going on?
Did it look like I got closer to the mic?
No, not at all. I thought maybe you were fiddling with something. I didn't know what you were doing, but it got super loud.
My eyes are tearing up right now.
I'm sorry. Did I scare you? I didn't mean to.
I thought something happened. I was like, can I not talk about Paro on here?
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I don't
No,
know.
no,
There
no.
was a technical problem.
No. You're fine. Okay, so parvo, for anybody who doesn't know, dogs, unvaccinated dogs or puppies are a little more common to get this because they're kind of unvaccinated, can get a disease called parvo. Really, really nasty disease. Chance had it. Oh, Chancey. But I remember one of the doctors telling me one time that, if they want to live, they need to. Actually, it might have been with Chance. Like, they got to be a fighter. They got to be a fighter.
Yeah.
And I think about it in the aspect of just people who have very, very awful diseases and illnesses. Do you really think that mindset doesn't play any role in that?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
That's the only way that I was thinking about it, because I was like, is this true though?
Yeah. I mean, it's not a secret. I watch a lot of horror, a ton of horror,
Right.
all different kinds of horror. But there are always those victims in the horror movies that are like, I'm getting a blowtorch and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they do it and it works out. And then there's people who just want to run and hide.
Right.
So maybe, I mean, that's sort of the same thing, loosely.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I was thinking about it in a different way. I
Yeah.
like to do that. I don't know why, but
It helps me understand things too. I get it.
yeah. How do you feel about all the science aspect of this? Does that sit right with you? Does it feel like
It doesn't
this
feel untrue, um, but it does. Science it isn't always the explanation, in that what is thought to be paranormal
Mhm.
or a cryptid or whatever is suddenly found, and now it's science.
Yeah.
When it was paranormal, it was bullshit. And now that
Right.
somebody, with a few letters behind their name see it, now it's a thing. So,
Right. Right.
but that's not to say that these things are not true. Just they're
Right.
just not. I mean, they're just a reason. They're not the rule.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to jump into some examples with you. Are you cool with
Okay.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
So these examples are going to be true stories that I included in here. And I'm not really including, I just want to give the bare facts
Okay.
and see how we feel after that. The first thing that I kind of wanted to talk about in here was car accident victims. There are car accident victims with a third man effect everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere. Some claim that the presence helped them get out of the car. Some claimed that they just helped calm the victims, only for no one else to actually see this presence. It's everywhere. I mean, seriously, look some of these stories up if you have never heard of this. There was a woman, which I think I've talked to you about this one time. There was a video of a woman who stopped at a gas station one time, and she was in the bathroom at the gas station when another woman just kind of like showed up in the bathroom with her. She didn't hear her come in. She wasn't really sure where she came from. And they start talking, but this other woman told her, if your car starts making noises, you need to pull over. And so she leaves the bathroom, and I don't remember exactly. There's way more to this, but when she gets back in her car, she's driving again on the highway and her car starts making noises. So she immediately pulls over, she gets it to an auto body shop, and they're like, if you would have kept driving this car, it would have exploded on you. You would not be
Oh
here.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think things like that are so interesting. It's way more common than we think it is. Way more common. I did want to add in here butterfly people. I know we're going to figure something out for butterfly people.
We'll just wait a little
Sorry.
while before we do it. It's okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fine. I didn't put anything in here about butterfly people because I know you wanted to talk about it. But when I was doing this research, butterfly people was one of the first things that came to mind because I was like, is this what butterfly people are? So
Yeah.
I just kind of threw that in here. There was a man by the name of Charles Lindbergh who did a solo flight across the Atlantic, and he reported sensing a transparent human-like figure and hearing clear, authoritative voices guiding him. There's a woman named Janelle McMillan, which she has a similar experience to somebody that I'm going to tell you in just a minute, but I didn't go too far into her story because I had the other one. The first one that I want to talk about a little more in depth is Ernest Shackleton. I actually wonder if maybe you've heard this before because I didn't realize I had heard this before, and I just I didn't even realize I didn't put two and two together, I guess. Do you recognize the name at all, Ernest Shackleton?
Yes, I do recognize the name, but don't ask me how I recognize it.
Okay.
It's such a strange name. So, yeah. I mean, unique is not strange. Unique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ernest Shackleton, you'll probably recognize this at least a little bit when I get into this. Shackleton set off on an Antarctic trek back in about 1916, I think it was. During his expedition, his ship became trapped by impassable ice. He had a crew of 28 of them set off on smaller boats. They eventually ran into Elephant Island, and because so many of them were in such bad mental shape, they, well, mental and physical, it's absolutely freezing. We're in Antarctica. They left a majority of them there while Shackleton and two other members elected to set back out and try to find this whaling outpost. The whaling outpost was over 680 miles away from where they were.
Oh, Lord.
Yes. Shackleton and his two other members, Worsley and Crean is how I'm going to pronounce them. Worsley and Crean set out. They made their way initially on the smaller boats that they had taken from the ship. They were hit with very, very harsh conditions: seasickness, initial stages of frostbite, dehydration. They eventually landed on the island that they were getting to days later, despite severe weather. That severe weather was a hurricane.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. So, anybody listening, keep in mind they're soaked with water too. I mean, they're in a little boat in the middle of the ocean during storms. They're soaked and just trying to make it.
Gosh.
Yeah. By the time they had landed, they had been traveling for almost 2 weeks. But, yeah. And that's, like, in total with them leaving the ship, getting to Elephant Island, and now landing on this other island. But they still had more to go. They still had to make it to the other side of the island to get to the whaling outpost. They waited out the hurricane for a few days before crossing 24 miles on foot. Again, this
How long
is
does that take?
it took them several days.
Oh,
Yeah, it took them several
it just
days.
keeps getting worse. Okay.
Yeah. This was incredibly intense. They had to go through mountain ranges and glaciers. They basically traveled, I'm not joking, traveled for days with no sleep. Yeah. I think there was a point in time where they finally, after a couple days, they did stop and rest. They were hit with this like really strong fog that they somehow made it through, and they made it to the outpost. Rescuers were dispatched to rescue the rest of his men off of Elephant Island, and they all survived.
Oh my gosh. Still don't
All,
know why I know this name, but man, that's a good story.
yeah,
Holy.
all 28 men survived. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Shackleton actually wrote his own, I don't know if it was a book or a paper. I thought it was a book. He is one of the original people that we have this story of the third man effect with, because he eventually came out and I quote his words: "When I look back at those days, I have no doubt that Providence guided us, not only across those snowfields, but across the storm white sea that separated Elephant Island from our landing place on South Georgia." That was the other island that they landed at. "I know that during that long and racking march of 36 hours over the unnamed mountains and glaciers of South Georgia, it seemed to me often that there were four, not three."
Nice.
After this, completely unprompted and several instances of time, Worsley and Crean separately later explained that they felt there was another person with them as well.
Okay, so they felt that there was another person, but are they describing said person or it's
No,
just a presence?
it was just a presence.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just described as a presence. Not anybody that they saw, or I didn't even really see anything where it spoke to them. From what it seemed like throughout their story, it really was just it felt like somebody else was there with them. Yeah.
Okay.
There was a man named MacDonald Critchley. He was a British neurologist. He published an essay called The Idea of a Presence. It was a study in 1943 and involved interviews with almost 300 survivors of shipwrecks and aviation mishaps, and they all had very similar experiences to Shackleton and his team.
Oh,
Yeah,
just a presence, no description.
just nope.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's super
Sh-
cool.
yes. And again, I really kept it, I hate to say bare minimum here, but bare minimum here while still getting the point across. These conditions that Shackleton and all of his men, not just him, Worsley, and Crean, all of them experienced was intense.
Yeah.
Intense. I mean, that's a lot to make it through.
I mean, you've literally just given me a thimbleful of it, and it is really intense. Yeah. Wow.
They also were only like so far from, oh, what was it? The North Pole, I think it was. Isn't is Antarctica? It was the North or South Pole. I always get them. I'm directionally challenged
Girl,
apparently.
look, what I know about Antarctica is that if you go on TikTok, people will tell you that we're not allowed to go there, but I don't know if it's true.
Yes.
I keep saying I'm going to look it up, but I haven't done it yet.
I haven't done it yet either. I should add that to the list though. I totally
Hey,
should.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. They were near, like, only so far from one of the poles, whichever pole was closest to them. I don't know.
Antarctica is down, right? South?
I
No? I don't know. I'm going to stop
yeah,
because I'm
same.
just going to sound like somebody who was educated in the public school system.
Oh my
Which I
god.
was.
Uh, all right. Well, this next story also a very well-known story. This story really, really upsets me. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, are you going to? Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Okay. So the next story I have, again, well known, is about a man named Ron DeFrancesco. It took place on September 11th, 2001, and he was working on the 84th floor of the South Tower, one of the Twin Towers in New York City.
Yeah.
The North Tower was hit first. From everything that I saw, it seemed like they were all pretty much, some people started leaving the South Tower, but they ended up coming on over the intercom, basically saying that it was limited to Tower 1. He spoke with his wife, let her know everybody was kind of instructed if they wanted to return to work, they should be okay to do that. It, again, was seemingly limited to Tower 1, which would have been the North Tower. I didn't know that they called them Tower 1 and Tower 2. Uh, he then received a phone call from one of his friends who told him to, quote, "get the hell out." So he did. He listened to his friend. He actually
Yeah.
left and he started descending the stairs. As he began descending the stairs at 9:03 a.m., the second plane hit the South Tower, traveling at 590 miles an hour. The floor that he was working on was completely decimated. Gone. No longer existed.
He's the only survivor from that floor.
Well, running into a group of people. So when he was going down the stairs, he obviously found other people going down this flight of stairs. The plane hits. Everybody's freaking out at this point, understandably so. they're still descending. They come across people who are actually coming up the stairs, and they're like, "Hey, we can't go down. There's no way down. You have to go back up." So they do. They begin their ascent up. He reached what he believed was about the 91st floor of the 110-story building before he decided to turn back around. So he began his way back down. I saw in because I saw in the book he actually had noted he was thinking about his wife and kids at this point, and he's like,
Sure.
you know, so he started going back down. He reached somewhere around the 80th floor where he found others in the stairwell, some of them lying on the floor. And by this point, he was really overcome by the smoke. They were all blockaded by a collapsed wall, which is why the people were like, hey, there's no way down. Like, we got to go up. This is when someone told him to get up. He notes that it was a male, but it was no one who was in the stairwell with him. It began yelling at him to get up, calling him by his name and giving encouragement. He said it was more than a voice, it was also a vivid sense of a physical presence. He had a sensation that lifted him up, guiding him to the stairs, following a point of light. And this presence led him down through all the smoke, through all the fire, and he made it to the 76th floor, which had a clear, lit stairwell below the fire. This is where he feels the presence leave him. So he's all on his own now. He no longer feels his presence. He runs into first responders on his way down who kind of guide him where to go. And he tries exiting the one way, but he's actually told to go another as the one he was at wasn't safe. I guess there was too much debris coming off of that area. So they're like, hey, you have to go to this other exit. You can't come out here. It's too dangerous. So he does. And as he exits, he hears a quote, ungodly roar. Heat from the explosion and fire weakened the steel trusses, causing the building to collapse in a matter of 10 seconds, making Ron DeFrancesco the last person out of the South Tower of the World Trade Center.
My God.
There were official reports that claimed he was one of 4 who escaped from above the 81st floor. There was a group of people reported to be making their way down at level 20 just before the collapse happened, perhaps following the way that Ron had taken, and none of them made it.
Mm.
Yeah.
How like why him?
Well, and that I think in the book they kind of talk about like he struggled with that. He's like, "Well, why me?" And when
Survivor's
you
guilt. Yeah.
yeah, and when you really think like I got to the point where the book described like none of them made it and I was like sobbing with tears coming down my face. I'm
Yeah.
like, this is not like they were so close being on the 20th floor, and they were probably all people from where he had come from. And that's probably exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They saw, the way that he went and they're like, "Oh my God, like he made it through. Let's go that way."
Yeah.
And it's just that difference of however long it was, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 5 minutes was the end all be all.
Yeah.
So like I said, a woman by the name of Janelle McMillan, she was in the North Tower. She had a similar experience. She called it her guardian angel, Paul. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So to round this all out, um, the third man likely occurs more than we recognize. It's not just limited to extreme travel and exploration. Like I said, there's plenty of people with car accidents and other life threatening situations that experience this. Humans are social creatures. We have our friends, we have our family, we have groups that we belong to. We are so social that solitary confinement is considered cruel punishment. There are things we know about biological mechanisms in our everyday experiences and things that we sometimes cannot explain, but those unexplainable occurrences are no less real. I encourage you and anybody listening to read John Geiger's book, The Third Man Factor Surviving the Impossible, and any research you can find. But I also encourage you to keep an open mind and ask yourself, is it possible that it's something more, something greater than what science can provide at this time? And I ask you, who or what do you think the third man is?
I think a third man can be all of those things. I have I have a third man. So, um yeah. So, my question about the one who had a guardian angel named Paul, had she had him all her life or
I did not look into her story. I saw that she was noted as one of apparently there were a lot of instances of 9/11 survivors experiencing something like this.
Mhm.
So I saw her name. I did not look into her story. I don't know if she's in his book later on or not.
Yeah.
Um, I was so incredibly touched by Ron's story, and I just I think Ron's story, because there were points reading something like Shackleton and other, I'll say, high altitude or things along that line, of where I was like, okay, I can understand where isolation can kind of do something to you. And you do have all these biological factors that can alter how your brain is interpreting things and how your brain is working in general. Reading Ron's story, and even the story of the woman who was cave diving and with her husband and stuff, well, without her husband, but with her husband,
Mhm.
those were two stories where I was like, there's to me, there's no way this is like, there's something more. There's no way that this is biology.
Yeah, all of it can't be. I mean, if all you're resting everything on is biology, then you are going to disregard
Mhm.
more than half of the stories.
Right,
Like,
right.
okay. Well, I guess all of those people are crazy, even though they went on to live completely normal lives. They're all
Well, and
crazy.
that's the thing. I saw things and they talk about it in the book as well. I know I keep mentioning the book. There's a lot in that book.
Mm-hmm.
It's 250-ish pages. There's a lot. I told you, I read I was reading the other day and I was like, "Oh wow, I finished that quick," and then looked and I only read 20 pages. So,
Because
yeah,
the
it's
information was so condensed, probably. Yeah.
yeah, there's so much of it. It's like you read so much and you're like, "Wow." And then you turn the page and there's like so much more. It's
Nice.
incredible.
Was that from
Incredible.
Kindle, honey? Did you find that on Kindle?
It is on Kindle, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Kindle. You can buy it too as a hard copy, but I just did Kindle because it wasn't gonna get here quick enough, and I really
Right.
wanted to do this week. But
That's where I keep finding myself as well. Yeah.
yeah, so Ron's story really, I don't know what it is. I have always had this sadness about me when it comes to 9/11, and I think it's weird in the aspect of I didn't have anybody there that I knew.
Yeah. Well, more Americans than not did not have people there, but everybody was scarred the same way. I mean, everybody that wasn't present was scarred the same way. Yeah.
Right. It's for some reason, I have always 9/11 has always, like, brought me to tears in one way or another.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, I remember when I was younger, I came across it was a video, I know it's still on YouTube. Um, oh my god, I can't think of this song. Heaven. It's called Heaven. The song is called Heaven, and then they've got the "It's been a year, daddy."
Oh, yeah.
Immediately sob.
Yep. Nope. Fuck off. I'm not doing that. Nope. Mm. Hell no. Nope. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so anything about this, I mean, I'm not joking. It really, really upset me when I was reading his story. So, um, I think that there are instances where, yeah, it can be biology. It can just be the human brain doing things that we don't notice because it's our brain. But I also believe in spirit guides. I believe in ghosts. I believe that you can come across people who are trying to help you that you can't see. I believe in that.
I believe that too. Yeah. I'm not saying it's every single case, but I'm definitely
No.
saying that I believe it. I know it's true. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
going to tell me any different. Um, m- but I know that there are times when it's not true. And you always listen when stuff like this happens. Get have a look at yourself. Have somebody have a look at yourself. But because you want to rule out those other things to confirm the things that people don't really readily accept. And I think that we're a nice place for people to come and tell that story if they want to, um, because we are completely accepting of all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I want people to recognize as well, these are not individuals. Individuals who experience this are not individuals who have history with mental health.
right.
These are I'm going to say in quotes normal
Yeah,
individuals. They're not having these experiences all the time. They may have never had this experience before and they never have it again. Um, these are medically well individuals who experience this.
yeah,
So I I think that anything's possible. I do think two things can be true, and yeah. There's
yeah,
there's no way to me that you have so many 9/11 survivors who have the same experience like that.
and first responders. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yes, mm,
mean,
yeah,
it's all these car accident victims. Like what is the biological likelihood? That's what I would like to know. Is the biological likelihood that people who experience these things would have the same experience? Does that make sense?
yeah. It's zero. The answer is zero. It's 0% that mentally well people that are not experiencing their lives in the same way are experiencing this incident in the same way. It's zero.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I really, really, really enjoyed doing all of this research.
Yeah, you did a
It
good
was
job. Thank you.
it's so interesting, and like I said, there's so much more. There's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah, you
And
taught me a lot today, sissy. That
there's
was a lot.
well, and there's a lot of experiences too.
Mhm.
So this is one of those things I I wanted to do this for a long time actually. This was one of the first things I wanted to do, but I couldn't find the right name of it. So I kept searching in like people who show up at car accidents that aren't actually there. In case you are wondering, that does not pull up the third man effect, okay? So TikTok actually really, really helped me with this because I was able to type in something along those lines and it pulled it back up and I was like, this is what I was looking for. And so I started like going through the comments and I saw somebody commented third man effect and I was like, thank God it's got a name. Like,
Got
It's
it.
a thing. Oh my god. So
Yeah.
yes, it took me a while to actually find what it was called, but once I finally did that, I was able to find so much information and so many stories. God, and these stories are some of it is a lot of the same, but there are a lot of really interesting ones with it too. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I really enjoyed everything about this.
Yeah, I did too. You did a fantastic job. Thanks for covering it. Thanks for
Thank you.
sharing the name of that book with us, because I'm definitely going to be getting into that.
Yeah, it's really like when you start reading it, some of the science is like, okay, that adds up. That makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. And then
Yep.
you hear a story like Ron's and you're like, like, so it's like this back and forth for me, but I would be very interested to know what any of the listeners think and
If they've ever
what
experienced it, yeah,
yes,
please. Yeah.
anybody who's experienced this who is comfortable sharing their story, um
We can
whether you
read it for
just
you.
right, you
You
can
can
come
come
on
on
if you
and we'll
want.
talk to you. Yeah, I would love that.
And we can leave you anonymous if that's what you want to do too. That's totally fine. Totally fine.
Agree.
But feel free to email us at thechamberofshadows@gmail.com. You can also find us on TikTok and Instagram at The Chamber of Shadows. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe.
Yes.
Yes. We've been getting more and more listeners, so it's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy doing this. This is so much fun, and thank you to everybody who listens, whether you're new or you've been here from day one, which was not that long ago, but regardless, thank
Right.
you.
Yeah. Agree. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.